The sound of footsteps echoed through the open corridors of the Roman market district, as dawn pierced the veil of darkness. But this wasn't the Rome of marble columns and pristine statues. It was a living, breathing organism of noise, filth, and relentless motion. The Forum might have drawn senators and patricians, but for the working poor, their Forum was the street of survival ground where each morning brought the same questions. What can I earn today? What can I eat? How will I make it to tomorrow? In this third part of our journey through daily life in ancient Rome, we step into the world of laborers, street vendors, beggars, and slaves. These were the faceless masses who carried the empire on their backs, who the elite preferred to forget. The first to rise were the bakers and millers. In cramped, smoky bakeries deep in the Subura district, men and women worked tirelessly to prepare bread for the city's thousands. Grinding grain into flour was often done by slaves who pushed heavy stones around a circular track, their bodies worn and scarred. The lucky ones had donkeys to help, but the noise never stopped. The slap of dough, the hiss of ovens, the crackle of wood fire. It was ceaseless. By mid-morning, the market exploded into action. Children, some barely walking, scurried between legs, selling figs or salted fish in exchange for a copper coin. The air reeked of sweat, blood, spices, and old fruit. Tanners worked just around the corner, their vats of urine-soaked hides filling the air with an unbearable stench. Fishmongers shouted next to barbers who shaved men in the open street, flies buzzing freely between open wounds and raw meat. Among them moved Cassius, a laborer who earned his keep by carrying goods amphorae of wine, sacks of grain, bundles of firewood. His body, lean and marked with scars, reflected a life of grinding toil. There was no job security. If he injured himself, he wouldn't eat. He was one accident away from starvation, and he knew it. The day's labor didn't end with the market. Builders constructed Rome's ever-growing insulate, scaffolding made of rotting wood threatening to collapse at any moment. Painters mixed toxic pigments, often unaware of the lead they inhaled daily. Roofers worked in blistering heat with no protection. If someone fell or died, it was just another day. Women were no exception. Many worked as launderers, washing garments in tubs of lye and urine, their hands cracked and blistered. Others stitched clothes in dimly lit corners, or served wine in seedy taverns where harassment and violence were routine. Daughters often joined their mothers, starting work as soon as they could lift a cloth. The most brutal tasks were reserved for slaves. They built Rome's aqueducts, cleaned sewage pits, or were chained to mills that never stopped turning. To the elite, they were tools bodies, to be used until they broke. But among this harsh existence, there was resilience. The poor built communities. They shared bread, warned each other of collapsing buildings, and protected their own. In tenement courtyards at night, voices would rise, telling stories, sharing songs, even laughing. Against Rome's indifference, they asserted their humanity. Occasionally a patron might stroll through the chaos, tossing a coin to a child or taking a mistress from the poor. But the divide remained stark. The elites rode litters above the crowd, quite literally elevated over the masses they depended upon. Still, life for the working class was not merely suffering. It was also about adaptation. Some vendors carved out regular customers. Some slaves gained manumission and started small businesses. Success was rare but not impossible, required luck, strength, and often the favor of someone in power. As dusk fell, the streets transformed once more. The clamor died down, replaced by hushed voices and the glow of oil lamps. Laborers returned to their cramped rooms. The smell of lentils and boiled cabbage lingered in alleyways. Children played with wax figures or bone dice. The city exhaled. In this rhythm of hardship, fleeting moments of peace emerged enough to survive, and sometimes enough to hope. Tomorrow, everything would begin again. But tonight, the fires burned low in the heart of Rome. The empire might not have noticed them, but these were the hands that kept it alive.